Hello friends, myself Dr. Mayank Sharma. Welcome you all in lecture series on machine learning, an initiative under Data Science and Machine Learning Lab, MIT Institute of Information Technology, MIT University, Uttar Pradesh, India. In continuation from the previous lectures, we will start discussion in this lecture in the area of regression analysis and its application to machine learning. We will go for the basic definitions of basic concept behind the machine learning, which we have already discussed with you in detail in the previous lectures. And in this particular lecture, we will go for regression-based modeling. We will discuss regression-based modeling, definition of regression, mathematical notation of regression, and errors which the users encounter while working in the area of regression-based modeling will be discussed, and we will follow them by the applications of machine learning. As per our previous discussions also, a simple model of machine learning consists of four elements: environment, learning element, knowledge base, and performance. Learning element give necessary input information to the knowledge base, or you can say it takes the input of necessary in, input of necessary information from the environment, and learning element use this information taken from the environment to improve the knowledge base. This improved information in the knowledge base will be used by the performance element to perform certain real-time tasks and then add feedback to the environment variable. Why the environment variable needs feedback? Because to improve the input information to the learning element, because initially the information which is fed to which is given to the learning element is not perfect. And similarly, this is the cyclic process in which every time the performance of the task take place and the variation or the is added to the environment as a feedback through the feedback mechanism. And with the course of time, machine learning algorithms gain experience, and that experience is added again to the knowledge base, and knowledge base gets improved or experience get enhanced. When we talk about the machine learning types, in this lecture, we main focus is on supervised learning, and within the supervised learning, we will talk about the regression based techniques. Regression-based techniques are used when in the supervised learning environment, the target variable is continuous. If the target variable is discrete in nature, we use classification. When supervised learning environment is there for the machine learning algorithm, in the unsupervised learning environment, we focus on the clustering techniques and association rule because target variables are not available. And when we talk about the semi-supervised learning, then in that case, classification and clustering both can be used when the categorical target variables are available. And when we talk about the reinforcement learning, in that case, categorical target variables are available, then we go for the classification, or that we go for the control system when the target variables are not available. So depending on the category of the data available, type of data available, continuous in nature or the categorical in nature, different types of algorithms are in use for machine learning. So machine learning algorithms based on the continuous data under the unsupervised environment, we use clustering, dimensionality reduction algorithms like SVD, principal component analysis, and the k-mean based clustering, and otherwise in the supervised environment, Under the continuous data, availability of the continuous target data, we use regression, decision trees, and the random forest. And when the categorical data is available, in that case, we will go for association analysis under unsupervised learning and hidden Markov tool. And under the supervised learning, we go for the classification such as KNN, trees, logistic regression, naive, naive based approach, or the support vector machine. Various market applications such as market forecasting, weather forecasting, advertising, popularity prediction, estimating life expectancies, and the population growth predictions use the regression based modeling under the supervised learning environment, while diagnostic applications, customer retention, image classification, identity fraud detection use the classification techniques under supervised learning environment. While reinforcement learning applications are AI-based games, skill acquisition, learning tasks, robot navigation, and real-time decisions. While when we talk about the unsupervised learning, and we talk about customer segmentation, targeted marketing, recommender system, which use the clustering techniques, while the feature illustrations, structure discovery, meaningful compression, big data visualization, they are the part of the requirement where the dimensional reduction is types of techniques. Dimensional reduction techniques are used to perform these particular type of tasks. So depending on the type of task, we choose the different type of learning mechanism, whether they are regression, whether classification, whether clustering, whether dimensional reduction or reinforcement learning. Now, when we specifically talk about the supervised learning, the algorithms that form the supervised comprises supervised learning mechanism, they use a supervised learning mechanism, then they work under the control of the supervisor. The supervisor provides the training data set, and also it provides the algorithm the desired output as label of the class in which the particular data point need to be mapped. So each and every data point under the supervised learning mechanism is well classified or well mapped to a particular class during the training process. So it's a in the supervised learning environment, the outcome of the algorithm which also be given as a given or tagged with each and every data point in a training data set. And outcome of this learning environment is the classes which are well labeled at the time of training data set, and each and every point which is each and every point in a space which is given as an input to the training algorithm will be mapped to the labeled class. So it is in the supervised learning environment, supervisor is present, each and every data point is tagged with a particular class name, and the mapping between the data points and the labeled class maps labeled classes takes place. Suppose when we talk about some example of the supervised learning, then best example is that if a child is of real-time situation in which a child is under the age of want to recognize, want to give names, want to learn the names of the fruit depending on the texture, taste, color, and means the fruits which are having different textures, different colors, and taste, and taste and different sizes. Then child knows these factors only. Now, what is the name of the particular fruit has been already been provided, or help he used to take help from the mother. So mother shows him apple, which he recognized by its shape, size, texture, and taste. and he could now start recognizing it as a apple. So mother is giving the name of that particular class of food, while the child is only looking at the features of a particular fruit. So while training while training, it is in a supervised mode under the presence of the mother. He used to learn what is the class of each and every fruit. So this is the very simple example of the supervised learning. When we talk about the supervised learning, then we have two types of in the presence of two types of different outputs. For example, if the output is continuous numeral values or the real values, we used to go for regression based techniques like simple linear regression, multiple linear regression, etc. When we talk about the classification, it means then classification, then output should be categorical or discrete in nature. In that case, we use the classification based methods for supervised learning. So some authors also says that under the regression analysis, there are infinite number of classes because each outcome or each output is continuous variable or real variable. So it's an infinite number of classes are possible when we apply in when the infinite number of classes are possible and each class is recognized by a real number, then we go for the regression analysis. Otherwise, we go for the classification in the presence of a target when the target class label is given and it discrete in nature. Now, whether we have to go for the linear regression or we go for the non-linear regression, the decision is in the hands of the analyst because he used to analyze the data. If he finds that there is a linear regression between the data points or the data points or the data variables, then he goes for choose the linear regression and multiple linear regression. While when he looks at the data and find that there is a non-linear relationship exists between the variables, then he go for the non-linear regression analysis. And in general, in the real-time situation or the real-world situation, always we go for the use the non-linear regression analysis because the variables in the real world are always have a non-linear relation among them rather than the linear relation. So it's the nature of the data set by which we can decide whether we have to go for the linear regression or the non-linear regression. In case of linear regression, we again decide if the variables are one variable is available for the single variable is available for the analysis, then we go for the linear regression, otherwise simple linear regression, otherwise we for the multiple linear regression. When we talk about some example regarding the linear regression or simple linear regression, is a one variable height and one dependent variable weight. So it is a data points, and these data points are represented by the violet color and the blue color. Violet data points are representing the relation between the height and the weight of the female, and the blue data points are representing the relation between the height in inches and the weight in pounds in the case of male. So blue line, which you are looking at the blue line, is a linear regression model, linear line, a simple linear line, which is passing through the points between from the through the points of male data, or means they are touching. Basically, it is passing through the points which are blue in color, while the violet line is passing through the points which are violet in nature, or they are passing through the data set of the female members which is collected. So the points which are satisfying these particular model or regression line lie near that line or on the line, while the points which are not satisfying this particular linear model, then they are passing from some distance, what we are they are having some distance from that particular data model. In this case, some points are on the blue line which are not belongs to the male category, and some points which are blue in color are all are on the wallet regression line. So nature of the data in real world is still non-linear. So linear model is not a good model for accuracy while when we talk about the regression analysis. And in the non-linear environment, the possibility that more and more points will follow the function or will satisfy the function. Now this is the three-dimensional multiple linear regression model in which the two particular independent variables x1 as experience and x2 as age, and one dependent variable is y. So y is equal to b0 plus b1 x1 plus b2 x2 is a simple plane passing through the three-dimensional surface. Is a plane in a three-dimensional surface, and all the points either on the surface means satisfying this particular model, or they are below the surface or above the surface. So the points which are below the surface and above the surface are away from this particular plane, and they are showing some error. You are showing some error. While the points which are on the surface on the plane on the three-dimensional plane are satisfying this particular linear regression model or multiple linear regression model. So this is the picture of the multiple linear regression model. Similarly, when we talk about the non-linear regression, so if the relationship between the data points is non-linear, then definitely non-linear model will satisfy all the points. So all the points which we are having in this particular diagram, suppose we have a relationship between the flow and the pressure, while we are having a relationship between the Kelvin and the expansion, then this is a non-linear model. And when we talk about non-linear model, the data points which are in the plane are mostly satisfying this particular non-linear function. So flexibility, if we because non-linear regression is flexible in nature, and it's it can satisfy more and more data points in the space, while the linear model, in case of linear model, the satisfactory ratio or the performance is always low. So the for the prediction analysis, non-linear regression is better option as compared to linear model. Now, when we talk about the Euclidean space, so linear regression in Euclidean space, for simple linear regression is a line in a two-dimensional Euclidean space. When we have two different independent variables and one dependent variables, it has three-dimensional Euclidean space, and we have a line or a plane in a three-dimensional Euclidean space. When we talk about the multiple linear regression, more than three variables such as a plus b x1, v1 x1, v2 x2 up to bt xt plus u, it's a n-dimensional or the is an n-dimensional plane and n-dimensional Euclidean space or hyperspace. So it's a plane in the n-dimensional space or a hyperspace. When we talk about the multi-valued non-linear regression, then multi-valued non-linear regression is also a function in a function of in a hyperspace. So it's a function in hyperspace. The function in hyperspace. Now, when we talk about the regression, then what is the difference between the regression based techniques and the classification? In the classification, data outcome is a discrete in nature, and each and every data point is well classified into different classes, which are separated by some boundary, function. So the boundary is with the associated with each and every class between the classes in the classification. While in talk about the regression, it's just a prediction of next point, or the prediction techniques is there, or forecasting of the points are there. So then in that case, we will talk about the regression analysis. So clearly you are seeing that there is a function which is making the boundary between the two classes, and the points are classified in space as red and green. So this is the classification. Their points are divided into two classes. A discrete outcome is there, while when we talk about regression, the real outcome is there, and the next point is to be predicted using the regression technique. A simple example if we take regarding the regression, simple linear regression. In the simple linear regression, we have y as a variable that you are trying to predict, or dependent variable, while the x is the independent variable, a is the intercept, v is the slope, and u is the residual error. Suppose we have a situation in which a sales manager of a company want to predict the gain in sales amount through the advertisements. What he will do? The sales manager sets the advertising budget as input variable and the sales as output variable. The input variables are typically denoted using the symbol X with a subscript to distinguish them, so that X1 might be a TV budget, X2 a radio budget, X3 newspaper budget. The output variable represented by Y is a, in this case, is the sales amount. So y is equal to sales amount is the response or dependent variable, and x1, x2, and x3 are the independent variables. Why they are independent? Because they are three different agencies, and their roles and functions are their roles in advertisement are totally, and the functionally they are independent in nature. So the sales manager looking at problem as three different linear models, as sales depends upon the advertisement budget spent on TV, radio, newspaper independently. So he is looking at this problem as a three different simple linear regression model. First model is about sales is equal to A1 plus B1, TV budget plus U1. Then is a relation between second model is talking about the radio budget, and third model is talking about the newspaper budget. When the line is drawn, in three different regression lines are drawn between the data points, which are representing the sales with amount of sales improved while using the TV, while advertisement on TV, sales amount increase when advertisement on radio, and sales amount increases when advertisement in newspaper. So the data model or the prediction model, first prediction model, that is regarding the TV budget, when he used to use advertisement in the TV budget, he finds that data points are very near to the regression line. So it is showing a better option to him to give the advertisement in TV rather than radio, and in fact rather than newspaper. And the coverage of and the prediction of the increase in sales amount is shown better when using the TV advertisement, and when then the radio advertisement, then the newspaper advertisement, because the density of the point near the model is more while giving advertisement in the TV rather than radio and newspaper. So he definitely make his decision to select using this simple linear regression model the first model. He choose the first model, and he will definitely go for advertisement or invest in the advertisement in the TV rather than radio and newspaper. So this is a very simple inference very simple inference he is drawing while working on the simple linear regression model. In general, when we talk about the regression model, then we have a simple linear regression model as y is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 x1 in error epsilon. Then this is the Y is the dependent variable, X is independent variable, beta is intercept, beta 0 intercept, beta 1 slope, and the epsilon is residual error. When we talk about the multiple variable linear regression, then the equation in general is beta 0 plus beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2 plus beta n xn plus epsilon. And or we can write it in a summation form, or we can write it in a vector form. In the vector form where f is an unknown function. Here it is linear, but it's a mapping between y and x. So where x is some vector representing n-dimensional vector or n-dimensional feature vector, or when we talk about the epsilon as a residual error. So the sales manager can also look at combined multiple variable linear regression model as sales is equal to A plus B1 TV budget plus B2 radio budget plus B3 newspaper budget plus 2. And he can get the real sales amount which depends on all the factors. So this is the example when we talk about the simple linear regression model and the multiple linear regression model. A simple example was there of the sales manager sales amount relation with the budget. Now when we talk about this multiple regression function and the error, then we have a discuss. Now we have to discuss the function and errors. Then y is equal to fx plus epsilon, where f is unknown function, whether it is linear, whether it is a non-linear function, or a mapping between response variable y and the vector of n predictors. And what about epsilon? When we talk about the, suppose we look at this particular figure, in this a simple non-linear regression or non-linear relation is shown between the year of education and the income. It's a non-linear relation. So non-linear function is there which is mapping between income and the year of experience. And the points which are on the particular or satisfying the particular function or on the particular functional function line or on the or a particular function curve are satisfying this particular relation, that is income and the year of education, while the points which are below that particular line, below the particular curve surface and above the surface or above the curve line or the below the curve line, then they are showing some error. Means that each and every point is showing some error, that is epsilon I. Now when we talk about a perfect or a model or a perfect or when we talk about some linear non-linear model which are well defined or of a particular standard, or we can say that are well suited to a particular situation such as year of education or income or any particular situation in a real life, any particular real life situation in which we say that the model is perfectly okay, then in that case we consider that the mean residual error epsilon as a mean residual error and its value must be 0. So sum of all the errors must be 0. Means that it's an average value of total error of the system must be 0, because error can occur in the mapping of each and every point. But overall, if the system is stable, then we definitely require the mean residual error to be 0. We will discuss in the next slide in detail about these errors. Similarly, if we are having income as a function of year of education and seniority, then if we are having a linear regression, then it's a plane linear regression, it's a plane in 3-dimension space. If a non-linear relation, then it's a again non-linear plane in the 3 dimensions. And the points which are on the particular surface of the plane are satisfying the particular relation, or otherwise they are not satisfying the particular relation of income and year of education and seniority. So again, we see that the non-linear function and multi-dimensional non-linear function, a multi-valued non-linear function, regression function is always perform better than the linear. Now, we always use the regression techniques for prediction purpose. When we talk about the prediction purpose, then we use the regression model. So first we have already seen the equation that y is equal to, in general, y is equal to fx plus epsilon, and fx plus epsilon is the first equation. In this case, x is the x input x are readily available, and but the output y cannot easily be obtained. Since error term averages to 0, then if the error term averages to 0, then we obtain an equation that y cap is equal to f cap x. This is the second equation, where f cap is an unknown function, represents the estimate for f, and y cap represents the resulting prediction of y for y. So y cap is the prediction, where f cap is the estimation of f for f. And the accuracy of the prediction depends on two quantities, that is reducible error and irreducible error. When the expected value of difference between the equation 1 and 2 is as expected value of the squared difference between the predicted and actual value, and it depends on the two types of error, that is reducible error, which is fx minus f cap x square, plus variance, or we can say it's an irreducible error, variance in the error term. So it's an irreducible error. So our prediction or error in prediction depends on the accuracy of the prediction, depends on the reducible and irreducible error. Now we will, in next slide, we will discuss these particular errors. What are the reducible errors and what are irreducible errors? When we talk about the reducible errors, f cap will not be perfect estimate of f, and hence some induction of error take place. This is called reducible error because we can potentially improve the accuracy of f cap using the most appropriate statistical technique to estimate f. So improvement in the regression model will reduce the error, and so it is called reducible error. If possible to reduce this error, then we can form the perfect estimator of f. If it is possible to reduce this error, then we can have a perfect estimator of f, so that f y cap must be equal to fx. But in this case also some error left. But in this left, as y is also a function of epsilon. We have seen that y is a function of epsilon also. It's a and which is defined as independent, which is always independent of x. So computation of error is always independent of the input. So we cannot reduce this particular error. We cannot remove this particular error from the system. So this is called as a reducible error. So it is a irreducible error. The validity associated with epsilon also affect the accuracy of our prediction. So it affects the accuracy of the prediction. This is known as the irreducible error, because no matter how well we estimate f, we cannot reduce the error introduced by epsilon, because it is an independent function of x. Because error epsilon is the independent function of x, while reducible error is a dependent function of x, and the epsilon is the independent function of x. So, and y depends on reducible error and the epsilon also. So reducible error is always larger than 0, since the quantity may contain unmeasured variable that are useful in predicting y, since they cannot be measured using f. The quantity epsilon may also contain unmeasurable variation. So that the variations which are coming to the system through the epsilon we cannot measure that, but we are not measuring or we are not considering that particular variation. Suppose that a person is, suppose that risk of an adverse reaction might vary for a given patient on a given day, depending on the manufacturing variation in the drug itself or the patient's general feeling of well-being on that particular day. So this is the irreducible example of irreducible error. Suppose that when we another type of irreducible example I will give. Suppose you go in the market and the company to purchase a car, and you see the specification in the documentation that in a specific document that car is showing the average, and or the car is showing the average of 30 kilometers per liter. But when you purchase that car and you just go and get complaint that the average is coming the 20, 30, 20, 25 or 22, then definitely the company, you cannot claim that, because company is taking that, calculating that particular average of the car under the ideal condition of system, under ideal condition of ideal environment, and you are working in the real environment. So that type of error can never be can never be reduced, and so we say that it is irreducible error. So definitely when you go for the when you use that car, the average will definitely be below the 30 kilometers per liter rather than exactly 30 kilometers per liter. So this is type of errors in the system are irreducible error. So we have a reducible error and irreducible error. Or irreducible error is called variance associated with the error term. When assessing the model accuracy, now the question is that when we say that our model is accurate model or we are having the best fit model, then we talk about the mean squared error, and this mean squared error for the ith observation, mean square error for the ith observation is given, and the sum of all the errors, all the observation divided by n, we can, and square of all the errors divided by n, we can mean square error. And we are having training observation, then there is a mapping between x1, y1, x2, y2, because it is supervised learning. So there is always a mapping between the input variable and the output variable in the training of the training data set. So that, and we can compute the estimated function as f cap x1, f cap x2 up to f cap xn. And we can also give the unknown variable unseen case. We can also give the unseen case after training, that is the testing case. When we say the x naught f cap, we calculate, we estimate the f cap x naught, and we want to map it to x. We want to establish the relationship between the map. We want to establish the map between the x0 and y0 in the case of previously unseen data. So it's a test data. So when we talk about the mean squared error, then there are two types of mean squared error. We have to take care while our testing or while when we are doing the regression based modeling, that are training MSC, that is computing the at the time of training of the data set, training in using training data set, and the testing MSC computed during the testing phase. Now looking at this particular two figures, if we are having a data set or relationship between data points of x and some output points y, they are represented by small circles. Then we are having different models. One is linear model showing a yellow line. One green line is showing some regression function. Another is black line is again showing some regression model, and some blue line, it is again showing some regression model. So as we talk about the flexibility of the model. Means that more the model is flexible, more the model is non-linear. When the model is non-linear, then the satisfaction of the, then more and more points get satisfied at the time of training, and more accurate will be the prediction at the time of testing. In that case, if the flexibility increases, or the when the more and more our regression model is more and more flexible, in that case mean square error reduce. When the mean square error at the time of testing always reduces towards zero, always reduce towards zero. While when we talk about the mean square error at the time of testing, it's once start decreasing and then it starts increasing. But there is a line which is shown in this figure, and it is the line which is showing the irreducible error or the variance of epsilon. So this is the irreducible error. Matlab, means before, below this point you cannot have a test MSE. So testing mean square error can never be below this line in the case of more and more flexible model, or in case of more and more non-linear model. If you use any non-linear model you use, or linear model you use, but that testing at the mean square error at the point of training always go below this particular dot dash line, and while the testing MSE never go below this particular horizontal line of variance in epsilon. So various MSEs are the function is represented by fx minus f cap x square, while when we talk about the variance of epsilon, it's an irreducible error. So this is the test you all need to perform while when you are talking about the, or when you are applying the regression analysis or regression model based regression modeling. So you have to take the test MSE, you have to take the training MSE, and you have to make the relationship, you have to establish the relationship between the mean squared error and the flexibility of the model. If this particular diagram, if the results come like this, then you say that your model is well behaved model, or your model is okay. And this particular training MSE is, as a function of flexibility, is called a degree of freedom. So what is the degree of freedom of a in case of linear regression? Is the mean square error. So flexibility is a function of degree of freedom. Flexibility or the mean square or degree of function is a function of flexibility, mean square error. Now, when we talk about the testing MSE and the training MSE, then definitely there comes a problem of the Bayes variance trade-off. When we talk about the expected value of y naught at the time of testing, y naught minus f cap x naught square, then it will always variance in the f cap, or variance in the estimation of the value, and the biasness in the estimation of the value square, and plus the variance or the irreducible error. So define the expected test MSE is defined by y0 minus f cap x naught x square. In order to minimize the expected test error, we need to select the statistical learning method that simultaneously achieves low variance and low biases. So that variance is inherently non-negative quantity. Variance is in a non-negative quantity because it is always positive. So the square and squared bias is also non-negative. So that variance in inherently non-negative quantity, and the squared bias also non-negative quantity, and hence we see that the expected test MSE can never be below the variance. So this is the reason why we say that test MSE never go below the irreducible error. And bias refers to the error that is introduced by approximating a real life problem, by approximation on the real life problem. As a rule, as we use more flexible method, the variance will increase and bias will decrease. So this the relative rate of change of these two quantities determines whether the test MSC increases or decreases. The good test set performance of a statistical learning method requires low variance and low bias. So it is a good test set performance of statistical learning method requires low variance and low bias. So in this case, you see that always we see that the flexibility, see that the flexibility or the you can more the flexible the function test MSC is always positive and above the variance. Now this is the now here you see the more example means if we say the MSC then test MSC is above the variance line and the test MSC if we have even the relationship mean the when flexibility increases then mean square error then we have a graph between the relation between the mean square error bias and variance. So as the flexibility increases the biasness decreases and more and biasness decreases and more and variance increases and test MSC also first decreases then increases. When the flexibility when the test MSC increases or flexibility is low, when the flexibility is when we say that the biasness is when flexibility increases and our model is showing less bias, then variance is also high. And when we talk about the increment in the flexibility, then all, but you see that always they are, whatever may be the case, it always having showing the lines above the dash line, that is the line of variance of this particular line is showing the line of variance of epsilon. This is also the variance in epsilon. This is also the variance in epsilon. This is the minimum line or the it is the irreducible error. So in this case, as the variance increases, biasness decreases. As we say that the variance increases by the degree, and we say that this is the means that if the flexibility of the model increases or more and more non-linear regression model we use, in this case, the biasness decreases. So linear regression, when we talk about the linear regression model, such as we have already discussed with you the sales amount prediction when the advertisement is done on TV, radio, and newspaper. But what is inference? Because we know that there is another question in the regression, then what is about the function? We have already discussed with you the error, but in the regression model, when we talk about the regression model, we need to discuss about this particular function f. So what will be the function? Who will predict? How will you find that is what will be the best function? So that properties of the particular regression model can be developed for predicting the right value through the inferences. The inferences are, for example, is there a relationship between advertising budget and sales? How strong is the relationship between the advertising budget and sales? Which media contributes to the sale? How the accuracy can be estimate the effect of each medium on sales, and how accurately can be estimate how accurately can we predict the future sales? Is the relationship linear? Is the synergy among the advertising media? Then these are the inferences question of inferences, which will help in deciding the nature of the model or nature of the function, regression function. So this inference theory used to determine the nature of the function, or used to determine the which type of function you will use, linear, non-linear, whatever may be. And when this in seventh point you see the synergy. Now in this particular equation, if we take, if the sales manager takes the different linear regression, simple linear regression equations separately, then it is just a relation between TV budget and sales. But here in the complete multi-valued regression, we see the synergy of the variables involved. So this is the synergical synergy, because in this TV budget he is also considering TV budget, he is also considering radio budget, he is also considering the newspaper budget. So three considerations are there. So it's a synergical function. So this type of inference decides what will be the nature of the regression model, what will be the function of a regression model, which is unknown function. So what type, which particular function will be more suitable for estimation, which particular function will give the less reducible error. So this type of theories we can analyze using the inferential rules. Now when we talk about simple linear regression is very straightforward. So prediction y is equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 x, when y cap is equal to beta 0 beta 1 for a particular value of y cap indicated by the prediction of y at x is equal to x. So at a particular point, each and every point is having some value of y cap. And total, we are having the vector y and vector x. So two unknown constant. So what we do, we need to estimate. Now another thing is that you will see that it is a beta 0 cap, beta 1 cap. Why they are having the beta 0 cap and beta 1 cap? Because we have in a regression model, we have to estimate the coefficient also. We have to estimate the coefficient. So what will be the coefficient of a simple linear regression model? Because because all the values of x vector are independent and y is the dependent value. So in this case, yi cap beta 0 cap plus beta 1 cap xi, and ei is the error, individual error, that is ei is equal to yi minus y cap I, and RSS means we say that reducible squared error, sum of reducible error, sum of reducible squared error, and it is represented by E1 square plus E2 square plus up to En square. So we have, why we are adding square of this error? So you can understand, we have already discussed with you that this particular epsilon or this particular EI is always having either the value negative or value positive, because some points lie below the line of regression and some points lie above the line of regression. So they are having values negative or positive, and if the sum of all the values of the error comes to 0, means that the system is stable, but may or may not the system is not of good quality. So in that case, we analyze RSS, means residual squared error. So residual squared error we are analyzing, we are adding the square of each and every error. So beta 0, beta 1 cap is again the formula is xi, average of xi minus yi minus average of yi total, and we talk about the divided by xi minus x average, sum of all the values, and beta cap 0 is equal to y minus is again y minus beta 1 cap x. So this particular diagram is showing the relation between the beta 0, beta 1 and RS. At the time of testing, we say that beta 0, beta 1 and RSS reducible squared error is having a relation. And the point which is global minimum point, minimum error, global minimum error, that is least square estimation. Means it is the least point. Dotted line is showing that all the points of error are there. Then this is the least squared estimation. So this point is showing the least square estimation. So what is the difference between the least square estimation and mean square error? So difference between the mean square error and least square estimation is that mean square estimation, mean square error shows the overall performance of the model, but it is not showing the performance of the model at each and every point. While RSS, when we talk about the least square estimation, it will definitely show the performance of the model each and every point, because it consists of, it is a mapping between the RSS, and RSS is taking the sum of a square of all the points. So it is showing that the performance of particular model each and every point. So most the lower will be the point, most lower will be the point, least will be the point, more better will be the model. While the mean square error showing the overall performance of the model. So if the overall performance of the model is good, but we cannot say that the model is perfect and it will perform better on each and every point. Suppose we are having an example, regression model building. We have a case study of cruise ship. Data description, for example, n is equal to 158 cruise ships, depending variable cruise size of 100 and persons, and the potential predictor variables are age of the ship, then tonnage means thousands of tons, and the passengers, length, cabin, and the passenger density. So these are some predictor values, and the dependent values the cruise size, how much a person can travel in a particular cruise. Then we have a correlation. Why we are establishing the correlation between the dependent variable, independent variables of X? Because the reason is that we want to establish, we want to check the variables which are highly correlated. So highly correlated among them are passenger and the cabin, passengers and the cabin size. So cabin size and passenger size are highly dependent variables, problematic. So we can drop these particular two values, and we just have a correlation between the passengers and cabin, and the tonnage and the cabin, tonnage and the passengers. So these are, so we only considered in this model the predictors, the age, tonnage, or passengers means that is passenger density, and the cabins and the length. So taking these particular uh, dependent or predictor values, we have age, tonnage, length, cabin, and passenger density, and dependent value is crew size for 20 cases or 20 cases. In 20 cases, ship, they are naming, the cruise line is they are naming, showing in this data set. So these are the variables, means the crew line. So these are the variables, the dependent variable or test data set variable y. This is y. These are x1, x2, x3, xn, and so on. Full 5 predictors, 6 parameters, and 6 parameters, and 50 data. We have a multiple regression as value of multiple regression means r square error is there, this adjusted r square is this, standard error is this, regression statistics and ANOVA. When we follow the ANOVA, then we have a degree of freedom as 5, 152, 557 total, and the total we have in squared sum of square of errors and the mean square error. Then we talk about the F and the significance of F. Then we talk about the what are the intercept. The intercept is at minus 1.9683, standard error t statistics, p values, and we will subsequently, if possible, then we can also discuss these particular type of statistics like f statistics, p statistics in our next course of lectures. So statistics about this particular regression case study is that if the model appears to be valid, very little difference between the press upon and MSC residual error. So residual error and the sum of the squares of residual error and the mean square error, that is the relationship, or means that is the relation, the means the RSS and mean square error are almost near to each other. So we can say this is the perfect model or the valid model. Hence, we can have a various techniques to discuss or various techniques to discuss the inference of the inferences that can be used to drive the function. So inferences are used basically to select a particular function. So inference rules are used to particular f, select the particular f. While estimation of beta 0, beta 1, all the coefficients of a variable are estimated using some estimating techniques, variable estimating techniques, or using correlation, regression, whatever correlation math functions or manipulation, because and errors are used to control the modeling environment, have to have a control on the modeling of the regression line, or have a control on the system. So mean square error, when we talk about mean square error, it can be the reducing, it can be the conversion, it can be conversion error, or it can be used for as a stopping condition. But RSS is definitely used as a tool to predict tool to analyze that our model is working well point to point. So thanks you and regards, if and regards, and you can find me my more lectures on YouTube channel. The link is given as. Thank you very much.